Hello again, everyone. It's Pat Bruff, and I'm here with Bert Gardner from Kalo and Beanick to give everyone an update on the new school that's being built here in Easthampton. How's it going, Bert?
Good. How are you, Pat?
I'm good. It's hard to believe this summer is already come and gone, but here we are at the end of September, and the project is really kind of cruising along. It's hard to believe just a month ago that we were going through here and it was just all steel. They were finally, getting the steel put together. And now, as you'll see in the video, things have really flown. They're starting to button things up.
Yeah, they sure are. You can see in the video footage that a lot of the exterior walls on the middle school side are just about closed in. You see a lot of the green wall board. It's actually an exterior sheathing that we're using on the project. And then later in the video, you might see some pink stuff on portions of the wall, and that's our vapor barrier. So the way we constructed the walls is to create the exterior sheathing, then the weather barrier, and then all of our insulations outboard of that, so that there's no chance of puncturing vapor barriers if people hang things on the walls and things inside the school.
Yeah. And so the back of the building is where you can see that pink colored stuff that's going on there. And so then what's the next step for them on the exterior?
So once they get the weather barrier, the pink layer sprayed on to the whole exterior wall assembly, the next step is to bring the brick in, and that's actually arriving next week, I've heard. And so we'll start seeing some of the masonry come together on the outside of the building and some of the brickwork that we've got.
Then it'll really look like a school. It'll really...
Yes, then it's going to really look like the school. Once the brick starts going up, they can put the windows in, and the thing really starts to come together.
Yeah. So it's hard to believe, but we're actually at 25% done. We just had a school building committee meeting last night, and you guys kind of gave us an update as to where we were. And so it really is moving along. I think the weather's been great, and hopefully it'll stay that way for a while.
Yeah, ideally we'll have a nice mild fall and even a mild winter. That will really help the construction keep going quickly.
Yeah.
But that's the focus right now for the contractor, is to really see how much of the exterior walls they can enclose. As soon as they can get the walls up and enclosed, they can easily enclose large spaces and bring in temporary heat, so all the work inside the building can finish up. To the same point, they've really made a push to get a lot of the roofing on, so that we're making the whole envelope as tight as we can before we get to cold weather.
Speaking of inside, everyone is getting their first look at the inside. Thank you for giving me the tour with my, of course, helmet, or not helmet, but my helmet, right?
Yeah, sure. Your hard hat, but it's a helmet.
Hard hat, yeah. Oh boy, hard hat. That was what I was looking for. My mask and my vest, and followed all the protocols that they need to have somebody on site. But everyone's getting their first look, and it looks just like the inside of a skeleton of a building, right?
Yep. You see a lot of framed walls now, especially on the upper floors, and they're working their way down. But you also see a lot of the above ceiling utilities going in at this point. You can see a lot of the HVAC piping, a lot of the domestic water piping. We've got sprinkler piping going up above the ceilings, and even some ductwork on some of the lower levels going up, and in some spots we've got the risers between floors for the ductwork as well.
Yeah, and again, for those that don't know, the goal is they're working on the middle school, so that's the big section that you're seeing in the video. That's the big piece right now that they're pushing to get that done first.
That's right. The middle school move is scheduled for January of 22.
Right. So that said, so you're getting a view here in the video of the second floor, the media center, which is actually really pretty cool with the glass and the views of Mount Tom. Actually, from more than a few of the spaces on the second and third floor, you got some pretty good views of Mount Tom.
Yeah, there's some really nice views out there. The site is just beautiful. Too bad we can't take credit for that. But,
right.
But it really is a beautiful site. And the views from the media center and the middle school on the third floor are just... they're really gorgeous. We've incorporated some really large windows facing Mount Tom, and then large windows facing the south side too, with parking lots. But those will have actually a perforated image, a perforated metal screen with an image of Mount Tom on it. So people will still be able to see out of the building more so than in, unless it's the light at night. We'll have a nice glow of the image. But it should also cast some nice shadows in the media center as the sun moves kind of across the southern exposure and through the throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And so some of the other pieces in the video, if I've done this correctly, is you're getting a couple looks at just the frames of the classrooms, one of the science labs. The rooms are big. They're great size. They're much better, more conducive than what they have at the current building.
Right. Again, that's, I'm sure we would have gotten this right, but this is something that MSBA really kind of focuses on and make sure that you adhere to their guidelines as far as the size of classrooms. So you really won't have any classrooms that are undersized. And of course, science labs are more hands-on, so those rooms are larger than your typical classrooms. But even the typical classrooms are all over 900 square feet.
Yep. So speaking of large rooms, we'll talk about just quickly here in the video. You can see from the second floor looking down the entrance, and then we'll have a couple of pictures in here as well of what the main entrance for the middle school piece will look like. That's coming together really well. Really interesting for me, seeing it from going to paper to seeing it, turned into a giant building is really pretty. It's cool. And then the other big building is the gymatorium. So tell us a little bit about that, because a lot of people are interested in what's going on there.
Right. So the gym is actually a very good sized gym. MSBA's guidelines are 6,000, but they allow you to go up to 10,000 square feet. So gym space is really critical in Easthampton, and the district decided that they wanted to kind of maximize their gym allowance. So you've got a really nice sized gym here. Bleachers on one side, face the opposite wall, which is the opening to the stage. As you mentioned, it's a gymatorium. So the band room, a wall can open up, and you'll basically have a proscenium opening to a performance space there. So when the bleachers are completely out, there's capacity to seat the entire school in case they want to do a school assembly.
That's great.
But if you're just holding a basketball game or something, they would just partially deploy to allow seating for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that stage is really good, and you'll see in some of the pictures here and the video from the stage. It's I can't remember this. You'll help me as far as the size of the gym compared to the high school gym.
So the main gym is probably comparable, possibly a little bit bigger, but I don't want to say too much bigger.
No,
it's probably comparable to what your high school is. The ceilings are higher, so it'll feel big.
Yeah.
And then you've also got an adaptive PE on the opposite side of the band room, which is like an auxiliary gym space, about 3,000 square feet. So basically you've got two 3,000 square foot elementary stations plus a 6,000 square foot station on the middle school side. So I guess that's 12,000, and the high school I think is 10.
Yeah.
And then you've got another 3,000 on the opposite side for the adaptive PE.
And then the windows around the gym, you can see from the outside. If you might have noticed in some of the video that there's some looks like big giant windows.
So in the new school, up at the top of the gymnasium, all the way around is a band of translucent panels. So it's similar to the translucent panels that we've got at the high school gym, but this is, instead of punched openings, it's a continuous band, so that in the evening it'll kind of have a nice glow of light if it's being used below the overhanging roof.
Right. So as you can see, the project is really moving along, and we will hopefully get back here in about a month or so, and we should be able to see quite a bit of brick up. I mean, that piece moves pretty quickly, if I remember correctly from the high school.
Yeah, the brick will go quickly. In this case, they're going to start with the base because of just the way they make brick and can get it delivered to the site. The base is all one color, so they're shipping all of that first.
Yeah.
So they'll probably go around with the base, which is the darker brick.
Yep.
And then they'll have to start over again and work their way up the walls from that once we get the other brick.
Great. All right. Thanks again, Bert. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you again in a month.
All right. Look forward to it, Pat.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.